Welcome to Derek's World of Motorcycling. I'm Derek. Today I'll be walking you guys around my Honda CB750. This is a 1972 Honda CB750 K2. The CB750 was introduced in 1969 and is widely considered to be the world's first superbike. I bought it in May 2020 from a guy in Birmingham who was looking to fund a new Triumph rocket. It's my first ever motorcycle restoration, and it also helped me to retain some sanity during the first COVID lockdown. The good news was that the bike was a runner and the original toolkit was still there. Now for the bad news. Dented fuel tank, cracked side panel, rusty frame components, pitted chrome. The right foot peg bracket was bent, indicating that the bike had been dropped. The exhausts had been repaired, but poorly, and the engine was leaking oil, and it was hard to start, and. My overall philosophy was to do the minimum required to get the bike into decent shape. The plan was to get frame components powder coated, renew bearings and bushes, renew all chrome work, repair and paint the tank and side panels, and fix the engine faults. The exhausts weren't worth repairing, so we replaced with Yamiya aftermarket items. This was the largest expense. The wheel rims were badly pitted, so I decided to have the wheels rebuilt with new rims, another large expense. Fortunately, the electrics were in good order, although I did replace the points ignition with an electronic system. Repairing the fuel tank and side panels turned out to be a major ball ache. I got the tank shot blasted to remove the original paint, but it also succeeded in removing some of the metal. The tank dents were simply skimmed, and the cracks to the side panel were plastic welded. I wanted to paint the tank and panels in the flaked sunrise candy colour of the original, but the limitations of my paint booth setup meant I couldn't get consistent results across the various surfaces. After many repeated attempts, and lots of swearing, I switched to plan B. I used a metallic orange base paint with a metal FX flake top coat, which worked really well. Removing the engine from the frame was a challenge, as it's a big, heavy, old lump. It was time for some serious dismantling. These rubber pucks in the cylinder head were probably the cause of the oil leaks, as they are known to shrink over time. Almost immediately I noticed the upper cam chain tensioner wheel was virtually destroyed. Remnants are sprayed all the way down into the oil pan. Unfortunately, to replace it meant removing the cylinder head and barrels. First engine start was in November 2020. The restoration lasted 8 months and was completed in December. The initial shakedown rides were okayish, but the bike was still hard to start and wasn't running right. The engine would occasionally lose power, and I couldn't get a steady idle. Cylinder 1 was too rich, cylinder 4 was too lean, plus the engine started to weep oil again, although far less than before. The issues were starting to bug me, and, following the 2021 Rugby Bike Fest, I'd had enough. It was time to sort the bike out once and for all. This meant more engine work, but now I was going to do the stuff I should have done the first time round. So, cylinder head refurbished, cylinders honed, plus new piston rings, cam chain, main crank bearings, seals, primary chain tensioner, spark plug caps and coils. the oil weep was traced to this mounting post in the cylinder head. The work took 3 months and was completed in September 2022. The performance of the bike was much improved, but it still was running rich on cylinder 1. The issue was finally traced to the carburettor and was due to a worn out main jet and needle. On the plus side, the bike is very handsome. The 4x4 exhausts are very distinctive. Clutch operation is light, the gearbox is slick, and the electric start is a bonus. On the downside, it's a big heavy old bus. Putting it on the centre stand is hernia inducing. The valve cover can't be removed without removing the engine from the frame, and fueling adjustment is finicky. It may not be as sporty as, say, the big Kawasaki 2-stroke triples, but it's certainly more refined. Welcome back to the Kickstart Challenge, the segment that lays bare the anxiety associated with cold starting a classic bike. The H2 is still top of the leaderboard, requiring 7 kicks to start. Will kickstarting the CB750 be even harder on my middle-aged joints? The CB750 takes over at the top of the challenge leaderboard, requiring 8 kicks. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.